Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Iron Age Radio is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, the best beef that's ever been sold in the history of mankind. The Schram Cattle Co. right here in Manitoba, Cartwright, Manitoba, sold by
Mark Schram.
Mark Schram, one of our amazing competitors here in Manitoba. He is a close partner of Manitoba Strongman and Iron Age Radio. So make sure if you need beef, if you need to grow, if you need muscle, and I know a lot of you MFers do, contact my man Mark Schram and eat his beef and watch your muscles
Yep, that's the one.
grow.
Yep.
Enjoy the episode, guys. They're not all gonna be winners, all right? Whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest episode of Iron Age Radio, the number one strongman podcast in
this gym for sure.
In this gym for sure. I don't know the metrics for anybody else, but we're doing great as far as this gym goes. We're here as your source for Manitoba Strongman, Western Canadian Strongman, Canadian Strongman, the world's Strongman. And boy, oh boy, do we have things in a lot of those categories today for you guys. Jian was at the Strongest Man on Earth / Shaw Classic about a week ago or so. I was at Strongest Woman in the West, aka Western Canada's Strongest Woman, just a couple days ago. And neither of us, oh God, this is falling apart. Neither of us were at Canada's Strongest Man, which happened also just a couple of days ago. But we did watch the video, and we do know what happened. So we're gonna talk about that too. Like, we'll pretend that we were there.
Yeah.
Like, I was there behind Tristan when he was pushing up the log, being like, "You got it, buddy." With my hands under his elbows, giving him a little boost. It was like there in spirit, helping.
Right.
As best I could.
I think we both were there in spirit.
Because God knows Tristan needed the help that day. So,
yeah.
But we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's start with a little bit of a conversation with our dear friend and my co-host. I always forget to introduce you, and I always mean to, because it's, I always think of this as just chatting with friends, and we don't need to introduce ourselves to friends. But my name's Tyler Sigurdsson. I'm a pro strongman here in Canada. I'm on the circuit en fort, and this is my lovely partner in podcasting and partner in life,
Jian Sarame.
Thank you. I forgot for a second.
Yeah, so I went to Colorado with Martin.
First of all, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very tired.
Continue on your story now.
Okay. Martin and I went to Colorado to watch Strongest Man on Earth, and that was a whirlwind of a trip. I feel like it was one of the busier trips that I've had, even though I wasn't there to actually do anything.
Right. But you ended up doing stuff.
I ended up doing stuff. More so fun stuff though. Like,
Yeah.
it was very low pressure for me, although I'm still very nervous.
Well, North America's Strongest Man was a different sort of experience for you, where Alec was there working with me. So it was the first competition that you've ever been to that I was competing at,
Right.
where you had no responsibility to like look out for me or help me. Like, Alec was, or next to none.
Right.
Alec was on it for the most part. He was doing his job. But this was probably your first competition, maybe ever, where there was just like no skin in the game.
Yeah.
Like,
Although
you had friends that were there.
I was very much invested.
Right. No,
yeah.
and I don't mean that you didn't care.
Right.
But I mean that like you just didn't have to be actively doing anything. Like, you
I
were
didn't
just
have a
there to watch a
responsibility.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't putting anything on. You weren't handling anybody. You were just there to cheer on your best buddies.
Yeah.
And that you did.
And I did.
Yeah.
And I cried a few times, starting with.
Hold on. Let's make a thing out of this.
Okay.
This is all the times that Jian cried. Can I guess? Can I guess some of them?
Yeah.
Okay. When Tristan won the yoke.
Yes.
Okay. How many? Do you remember how many times there were?
I don't remember.
Okay, so we'll remember them as we're going here. When Tristan won the yoke, when Wes and Eddie did the heart thing on top of the...
I didn't cry. I thought
stairs?
that was just funny.
Oh, okay, you didn't cry? I really thought that
I
would
didn't
get you,
cry,
actually.
no.
Okay. Did Wes make you cry at all? His
Ye-
birthday thing. Something to do with it being his
He
birthday.
didn't make me cry, but him,
Did he make you cry? Yeah, he pinched me really hard.
just him being there made me cry.
On his birthday?
Yes.
Yeah, that was nice.
So Wes turned 30 on the Saturday. of Strongest Man on Earth. And I started writing out a happy birthday post for him. And just the thought of it being so special, and I got to be there to watch a thing that he really cares about.
Right.
I don't want to cry right now.
So you cried. Okay, so just the running tally. You cried when Tristan did well in the yoke.
Yeah.
You cried making a post about Wes's birthday.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing you probably cried when Tristan shouted you out on the thing.
I didn't cry, mostly because I was a little drunk and I didn't really hear it until after.
Oh, jeez. Well, I heard it, Tristan, and I appreciated it, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I knew that he shouted out my sign, but everything was just a blur at that point.
That was really nice, though.
That was very nice.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else could have made you cry? When Shane Flowers did really well in something, I forget what it was, and he pointed to his belt where it says his son's name. That make you cry?
No.
But
I missed that.
It would have if you noticed it.
Yeah.
Right,
There's just so much going on.
What am I missing? What's some of the highlights of you crying?
I was talking to Mrs. Beth Ann Spurgeon, and she was telling me how much
Josh Bird's mother.
Yeah.
Maybe should we be saying people's full names on here?
I mean, if you just look up Spurgeon, she'll pop up.
Right, fair
yeah.
enough.
So I was sitting with them because I don't know, I was just visiting with Josh's parents, and she was just talking about how much they appreciated us coming to cheer on Josh.
And that made you cry.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that'll definitely do it.
And then she took a picture of me with my sign.
Oh yeah. What were your let's go over what were your signs that you had for Strongest Man on Earth?
I had a happy birthday Wes one, and then I did like moose antlers on it.
Yeah.
And then I did a sweet tea one for Tristan. And then I did a Raging Cajun one on the first day. So I actually had Paige smuggle them in for me because I knew they were going to be too big for what the venue allowed. They had like a poster saying like you can't have a sign bigger than this.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And I knew that mine was already bigger than that, so I had her sneak them in for me.
For anyone who's not aware, the Raging Cajun is, of course, for our Louisiana Bayou man, Josh Spurgeon.
Yeah.
He's as Louisiana as it gets. Barefoot, overalls, straw hat.
Yeah.
Big lip of chewing tobacco.
Out there shrimping,
catching catfish, doing exactly what people were saying, like, he doesn't have the internet, but people were sending me videos of him like 3 days before Strongest Man on Earth, still out there noodling, catching catfish. Like,
yeah.
He doesn't give a shit. Like, that's his deload.
Yeah.
Is to catch catfish.
He showed up with mud between his toes.
Well,
you know?
and it's like a deload is like a successful deload is, you know, not only deloading your body, like the stress on your body, but also take some of the stress off your mind. And for some people that could be like, you know, you go for a bike ride with you go walk your dog, you go spend some time with your kids. But for Josh, that's just he's in the fucking swamps catfishing. Yeah. That's like the most fun thing in the world to him. So that makes perfect sense. And speaking of Josh, and we mentioned a few of the names of the guys here. So we had we're in this fun part in our strongman journey now, where like a lot of our friends, guys that we competed with on much smaller shows than the Strongest Man on Earth, are now competing at these gigantic shows. And you know, they would be you know, to people who are in the strongman world, like they're big celebrities now, and they're just
they have fans.
Yeah, just
right.
Just
it's really cool.
Us, you know, like
it's really cool to see our friends at expos, let's say, and I'll just be like standing there catching up because these are people that we don't usually see very often. And then I realize that there's a line forming behind me.
Right.
And I like that always makes me really happy when there's people waiting to talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I mean, it's like even at the Arnold's, I was talking to Max and Sam, and I realized the same thing, that there was like all these people who were behind me who were waiting to meet Max and Sam.
Right.
And I turned around and I was like, listen, you fucking little fanboy Mark, I'm not like you. I'm friends with them. And then I let them go ahead of me.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first day of Strongest Man on Earth, I went to the expo just to check it out. I went to the Dungeon Strength booth, and I was just catching up with Lucas and Alice and everybody else from that team. And I realized that there's a line forming behind me. And I looked at the time and I said, oh, like Lucas probably has to go. Like he has to go be at the venue and start the day. And I knew that Lucas is too nice of a guy to turn down fans. So I volunteered to be security and be like,
start pushing people and stuff.
Well, I kind of went to the end of the line, and then if somebody was to come up, I'd be like, hey,
Right.
like he's getting ready to go to the show, like he'll catch you another time or whatever.
Right.
So that was part one of me helping out at a show that I wasn't there to help out
Yeah,
for.
that's the first instance of you doing something that you did not have to do, but
Right.
you chose to.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit into the. So then that was your Friday or your Saturday?
That was my Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
The competition started on Saturday.
Yes.
So we have kind of two perspectives of the competition here, where Jian, who was right there in the crowd watching it, and then me, who was watching the pay-per-view at home, which I really, really enjoyed. I really thought that, I'll be honest with you, I watched the first bit of the Shaw Open, and I was really, really unimpressed with the stream on there. No information on the screen.
They try to do these cinematic shots of was it 4 lanes? Is it 4 lanes?
And then they do the OSG thing where they'll just cut to the person who's in the lead or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that
Yeah.
because it makes OSG hard to watch.
Yeah, I don't care
Yeah.
for that either. And it's just like, it doesn't have to be cinematic. Just give us the action. That's all we really need.
Like it's less work to just have one wide angle of
Right.
everybody, and you
Right.
could see every single lane
Right.
exactly what they're doing, right?
And I think that, I think it's always great when a strongman competition, the level of strongest man on earth, world's strongest man, whatever it might be, like incorporates old strongman competitors, men or women, to be part of it and get a payday from strongman still, because that's not something that lasts forever. You know what I mean?
They've sacrificed their bodies
Right.
for it, right? And their whole lives.
So this is no disrespect to Victoria Long or Nick Best as people or athletes or anything, but boy oh boy does that MC work need some work from them, because it was not good. And it made it challenging to watch. Like, it was just, they weren't offering information or insight as to what's happening. It was just a lot of like, come on, and yelling advice to the lifters like while they're going. It's like, that's not gonna
Right.
fucking help them, you know what I mean?
They can't hear you.
No. And yeah, so I didn't care for that. And that's the only thing that I would say about like Smo though, is that they have this long-term plan. Like, this isn't just gonna be one show this year or next year or whatever. They want this to be a long thing. So if they want like Nick Best and Victoria Long to do this for a long time, I would have said this. I say the same thing that I would said with Ed Cohn last year, where his reffing was so bad. It's like, pay him to go to local amateur comps and referee there. You're going to help out those local amateur comps by having Ed Cohn there, is just lend some credibility to it.
Right.
But also, he's going to be on a small scale where there's not really that many. Like, the consequences are much less severe than Smo.
For sure.
To make bad calls, to fix them, whatever. And then I think the same thing too with the MCing, where it's like, if you pay them and send them to, local meets or whatever, just to get used to the idea of talking and what's appropriate to push and how, what information you get out there and stuff. And I think that's really going to improve the viewing experience from it.
And
or just hire me to do it. I'll just do it.
And I think it goes a long way to have a debriefing as well. Not that they weren't debriefed or anything, but just to have like even a clipboard of certain cues for every athlete. And I know that's hard to do for Shaw, because how many athletes were there at Shaw?
What?
1 million. Right? So it's hard to have a feature for every single athlete.
So I was talking to Thrones about this though, and like, this is the least that they could do. Is you can always tell when it's someone's first time saying someone's last name out loud,
Right.
as opposed to having read it or whatever. And the first time that you say that name out loud should not be over the mic
Yes.
to a arena full of people and pay-per-view and YouTube, whatever, at home. Like, I think it was Thrones that was telling me that, like, before their university graduation ceremonies, somebody will go through, and these are like hundreds of people big, these classes, right? Sometimes closer to 1,000 probably. And they will check everyone's last name, and if they need help with it, they'll write it phonetically next to it, so that like
Yes.
whatever their version of that is phonetically next to it. And that might seem like a lot of work, but what you have to think about is that for those people who are graduating from university, that's a very, very, very small amount of work compared to the work that they put in to have their names pronounced correctly in this very important moment for them. Now let's take that exact logic and pull it over to strongman. It might seem like a lot of work to go to all the weight class people and be like, hey, like, how do you say your last name? And then write it down or whatever. But those people have trained for weeks or months for this competition.
They've dedicated their lives to this, right?
So
like
this moment could be very, very important to them, and it's not a very big thing. I'm sure if you ask them to go around and be like, hey, make sure I have everyone's last name right, because I think it's important. But anyway, so that was we were kind of getting towards the main competition now, the strongest man on earth, which is aesthetically, I think one of the coolest competitions in the world.
Yes.
I think it would be either Rogue or I think the Arnold looks great too. I really only think that World's Strongest Man looks like shit. It looks like a cartoon, and I hate it.
It looks like the commercial of what it's supposed to be. It's all like the cuts of what the events are. It's all the cuts of what the events are, and it's like you don't really get to see any of the competition. You just get to see what the editor's version of the competition is.
But I also don't like how cutesy they make it. Like everything's like bright colors. Fly here, I'm sorry. Everything's like a bright color. They've done like in the past like 8-bit themes, and it's like they always have like sort of like a tropical sort of feel, which is not the place that they're in. It's just the materials that they use and the graphics and stuff. They always like, it's just the Shaw was like black and silver and gray and like just like cool looking, and looked like it just made it look hard and tough. You know what I mean? And then like the roads,
and it makes everything look very sharp.
Yes.
Like the focus is on the athlete and not the decor.
I agree. Yeah. There's something to that too, where the athlete really pops out when everything is that black color. And when you watch like the Rogue, I love that there's like the wood, the green of the turf, and then the black. Yeah. And the juxtaposition of those things is very like, it makes you think the Rogue. It's like a very successful branding thing that they've done, and it looks really, really sharp. And then even the Arnolds too, like with the giant screen behind them and the stage, like it's like a very distinctly Arnold's thing. The equipment is always amazing on there and stuff, and it's not necessarily like as curated of an aesthetic as the other ones.
Right.
But it always, you're looking at the Arnold and you know it looks cool. And Worlds, I just think kind of looks like poo bum ass shit.
I was gonna say poo poo caca.
Yeah, so I don't care for that. But so anyway, getting into the Strongest Man on Earth competition. So it looks fucking cool. The pay-per-view was top notch.
Yes.
I really thought it was great. Laws is doing great on commentary. There's always like the non-strongman avatar for the fans, play-by-play guy.
Yes.
And he was okay. He was fine. I didn't really have any, like, he made some mistakes, but he made far fewer mistakes than guys who were in that position have in the past.
Right.
Like there's been guys there before where it's like, you have never seen any of this shit.
And it's really annoying. Like I really don't like that when they make a joke out of it almost.
Yes.
They make a point of not really caring about what they're watching, and they're being paid, I assume.
I would assume very well.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't care for someone who's like, oh, I don't really know what this is because this is too sporty for me. And it's like, then why are you there?
What are you doing here then?
Right? Like at least show a little bit of care. People really care about this.
Like Fortissimus had one that was like Super Sam was on commentary with him, we met at the Magnus one year, and it was fun to talk about Fortissimus with him. But he was like the guy who was in the know, and you could hear him getting visibly frustrated, or not visibly, audibly frustrated with the guy that he was working with, being like, how do you not know this shit? Like, how are you not getting this? You know what I mean? And it was just, there's, like I said, there's a point of like being like sort of the avatar for the fans, where if it's you and me doing commentary, you don't know what it feels like to have 1,000 pounds on your back. So you could say to me, what does that feel like? And I'll tell you, bad.
Yeah.
And then, but you could ask the question knowing this is called a super yoke. This is what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
This is what would be considered heavy for these guys, blah, blah, blah. You still have that information.
Right.
Where some of those guys don't have that. And we're getting further away from what we're talking about here. This guy did a pretty good job of that kind of stuff, I thought. But a couple very minor, just like name mix up and things like that. Like nothing that was like too mind blowing.
Right.
But Laws did good on it. And we had Jerry Pritchett and the one and only Jeff Caron as the special referees for it. I guess not special referees; they're just your referees, which is awesome. It feels like they
are very special.
Yeah, it feels like a very special referee situation. But these are just some of the best guys in the world from strongman history who are now in this position now.
Can I just say something about JF really quick? Is that it was really funny for him to only have one job because.
Oh, I bet he was just itching.
Oh my God. The way that he was looking at the forklift was really funny.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he was just like, can I just please drive that thing?
What's that fucking, that meme? Like he's like looking at like the Green Goblin's mask and Spider-Man. Like it's just like, drive me, Jeff. You got it. These guys are going too slow. You got to move this shit, bro.
And like, it's just really funny to see him indoors with sleeves on also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No cigarette in his hand.
I was gonna say, I bet he had a pack of smokes in his back pocket that
just
was just
I bet you he was just like patting it to make sure it's there.
Yeah. Just burning a hole in his pocket. He's like, I gotta get outside.
It's just really funny to see him only have the one job. Although I did see him like doing other things as well, because he just can't help it.
The next time that we talk to him, I'm gonna have to ask him about that. Like, just like, because I don't know that he would love that experience. of not being in like control of the competition that's
Right,
happening.
right.
Because you go to shows all the way as big as North America's Strongest Man, and he is the guy who's in control and,
Yes.
and in charge. And he does a fantastic job of it, so it's well deserved.
Yeah.
But then when he goes to that next show, whether it's Worlds or
And it's not
Smo-
his show. It's not his brand.
No.
Yeah.
And then he went and did so he also refereed the Siberian Power Show, and he just has to sit there and referee.
Yes.
And if things are happening or going wrong, or he can see things going wrong or whatever, it's not his job to fix them.
Right.
It's his job to referee. And I wonder how he does with that, because he's. I don't mean to make him sound like he's like a power freak or anything like that, but he just knows how to run a strongman.
And
show.
he just is a doer,
And
right?
he's a doer. Yeah, absolutely. He's not.
Because at North Americans, I would look up and he's doing something else.
Yeah.
Like he was testing the yoke, and then he had me and Teresa on the yoke, and then he walks at a few feet. He goes, "That's good," and I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And then he just gets on the forklift and drives away with a yoke.
Yeah.
So it's just like he does all of it.
Yeah.
And then he'll sweep or whatever.
He's always doing something.
Yeah.
The refereeing was very, very good in this competition. JF did a really great job. Jerry was like the side ref or the like the auxiliary ref, I guess you'd call it, like when there was like two events or whatever, or sorry, head to head. Which did that ever happen head to head? Oh, the last one.
Yeah.
So he was there for that, but they both did a really great job. The refereeing this year was much, much better because they didn't have any powerlifting little fellas doing strongman refereeing, so that wasn't necessary. So that's great. You know, we all respect the powerlifting legends of the past, but we don't need them calling overhead strongman and stuff.
Right.
But that was a really nice adjustment that they made. That was really, really great. So day one, we saw
The log.
the max log.
So day one was really crazy. Like they started off really heavy. They, like Lucas set the American record for log press.
Lucas said it, and then it got taken from him by Tristan. Excuse me, not Tristan. That'd be
By
weird.
Trey.
By Trey.
Yes.
And then he got it right back again on the next one.
And it looked really easy. Like it flew.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him struggle on an overhead before.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. And it's fun to see Lucas gain a little bit more confidence in front of a crowd. Also.
Yeah, he's a real showman out there.
Yeah. And it helps too that Alice and his family were pretty close to the front. So he's playing towards the crowd as well.
Right.
Yeah. That was really fun.
That was something that I said about this. I put it on my Instagram story, but like for supposedly being like everyone's, like I said this, if you saw it before, I'm sorry to repeat it, but everyone says that like World's Strongest Man is like entertainment first. It's like it's a TV show first, and it's like, okay, like we all kind of accepted that, and that's why it's not like it doesn't feel like a true competition like say the Arnold or Smo or whatever. But this was so much more entertaining. Like I feel like we got to know these guys better than we get to know them at Worlds.
Yeah.
We got to see them in their prime, like in their element, I should say. Like I think it was on his third log. Like Nick Guardione like jumped over that log and like went towards the crowd, and like it just felt like he was jumping right out the screen at you. And then like Lucas would do shit like when he got the log record back, he'd be like, saying like it's mine.
That's
it's mine.
me.
It's me.
Yeah.
Whatever he said, and like it was just really, really cool. And I thought that we got to see guys in a way that like even if we don't talk about say like the editing and the cutting out of things at World's Strongest Man, I don't think the guys are having that much fun there.
Right.
Like I don't think that they enjoy themselves.
It can't be that fun when you have like 4 hours between events, right?
And you're just like you're being told, like you're waiting for the cameras constantly. You're doing like I don't think that you have that same sort of like just like letting it all go and just being like a wild, crazy competitor.
I think the difference is that for World's Strongest Man, you are there for the cameras.
Yeah.
Where at Strongest Man on Earth, the cameras are there for you.
Right.
And I think there's a lot to that as well. They did a media day, and all the athletes shot, their interviews or whatever.
Right.
And they would ask them about each event that was going to happen. And before that event happened, so let's say it's the max log, they would play it on the Jumbotron of like almost like a trailer of what's to come. So that was really, really exciting because
cool.
Watching the show back like on the pay-per-view, they had that same trailer going before the event.
Right.
So that was a really nice touch, and it kept the audience engaged as well, because usually people go between events while they're setting up the next one to go get a drink or whatever. But if you didn't choose to do that, you still had entertainment the whole time.
Yeah,
that's what I really liked.
There was very little downtime during the whole pay-per-view. I felt like there was not like, there was a couple events that needed resetting and things like that.
Right.
Obviously the time in between like setting up the power stairs and all that shit. but it didn't feel like we were sitting there waiting for very long at any given time. So I thought that was great too. For the log press, I think that overall we didn't see. I think that probably say like Lucas, I think maybe Tristan, or I keep saying Tristan, Trey. I think that they knew that was about as high as they were going to go. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I think that there was a lot of talk of world records and stuff,
Right.
Because they're trying to sell tickets, right?
Yeah.
It's a show. I think that they knew this is about as high as they were going to go, and so some people might have been kind of thinking like, oh, it's disappointing there wasn't a world record, but I mean, these guys are just going to keep pushing each other. Mm-hmm. You know, we're going to see a max log event again at some point next year, I'm sure, and they'll have to. Their numbers are going to keep going up past the American record all the way to the world record.
And I mean, it's the records nowadays you couldn't have even dreamt of, let's say 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a fairy tale number at the time, right?
And like Andre Foytu didn't get his crack at like those real high numbers that people would have liked to have seen, but you know, he was training on a metal log. We saw that in his stories. Mm-hmm. And people said over and over again, those wooden logs are different. And I've pressed a wooden log a couple times, and they really are different. They do a very different feel to it than your standard sort of gym metal log, like the Rogue One or whatever.
Right.
Any thoughts from being in the building for the log competition that really jumped out at you?
The crowd was just electric. Just the second you say American,
Right.
everyone just pops off, right? So it's an American record. So they
Right.
kept selling the American record.
Right.
So that really matters to that crowd because it's, I don't know, like 90% Americans
sure.
there,
Easily,
right?
yeah.
So they did a really good job with even just the emceeing live as well.
Awesome. Who was the MC for the? Oh, it was Neil Pickup. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Neil was
of Giants Live fame.
Neil was really funny too because he would just walk around the whole stadium and just talk to everybody there.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, he's very experienced with that. Mm-hmm. He's the guy from Giants Live that always says, "Raise it up for Gavin the Bull Bill," or whatever the fuck, and then he'll also say that things are hotting up.
yeah,
They
things
don't
are
say-
hotting
They
up.
don't say heating up. They say things are hotting up.
Somebody stole his pants also.
That's probably you, eh?
No. I don't know if he had like sparkly pants to match with a sparkly jacket, but I heard that somebody may have mistakenly taken his bag.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
he's missing his sparkly pants?
Yeah.
Damn. Did you
Somewhere out there.
Did you lend him your sparkly pants?
No.
So that's okay. So that's your thoughts on the log. Mm-hmm. Good time.
Good time.
Thumbs up for Jian.
Yep.
All right, great. Following that was the
carry and hoist.
right. Cool event, although I think that it did lack some of the impact that some of the other ones had. And not every event is going to be like this fucking mind blowing whatever. Sometimes it's just an event to get some points or whatever.
And it just went way faster than the keg toss and the log, right? So,
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
yeah,
is that
it was go.
Yeah, you
right.
got blinked
So
and
you
missed
kind
it
of
thing.
yeah.
Eddie Williams winning that one. Mm-hmm. Tristan get a good time on that one. I'm pretty sure.
He did. Tristan got 28 seconds.
What did Wes pull on that one?
Wes
Just blew that.
got 30.81.
So very close. Both
Yeah.
Canadian guys both have monster grips.
Yes.
Not super surprising to see them do well on that one. That was the frame into the arm over arm. We did hear that there was potentially issue with like one of the because they had knurling on the frame handle that there could have been like that's why Shane Flowers had problems with it.
Yes.
Because he's got a pretty good grip, and then it was coming. It just couldn't get a grip on it. And it split his hand open, I guess.
From what I heard, that it was caked with chalk.
Yeah.
So he was trying to clean it with his hand beforehand, and then before he knew it, the whistle blew and he had to go.
Right.
Right. So it's just part of the show for a lot of these guys too. It's hard to know what really is happening because everything does move really fast. So that was a heartbreaker for Shane.
For sure.
Because he came a long way. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that the pressure is really high for him.
To be honest with you, I think that like say for a UK or British or whatever guy to come and do Smo, I think that this is like a really big breakout show for a guy like him because so many of the UK guys do Worlds. Mm-hmm. That I think that this is probably like there's only like you look at the thing there's only two Great Britain guys.
Yes.
So it's just there's so much fewer of them. So to make it onto this show, I think was probably like a little more special. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what he thinks is the most important show to him. But yeah, the whole show didn't go the way he would have liked, which is really a shame. But that was the carry and hoist. Any more thought? What was the crowd experience of that one?
It was like, I feel like the whole time everyone was just really into it. There was no point in the show that I thought, oh, like they're losing the crowd.
Right. Well, it went fast. It was like a really fast paced
Yeah. And I mean, the max log did take a little bit too, because for every record attempt that they would do, they would weigh it, whatever. So the max log took about 2 hours. Every max event takes a long time. So
Especially
it's
at that
just,
level, it's a little different too.
yes.
Yeah.
So the carry and hoist was really fun. It was just really fast.
Yeah.
Compared to everything else, like I almost forgot about it just because it's hard when everything is very exciting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then following that one, we had the max keg toss. So it was the heaviest weight you get over 15 feet. This one was, I'm trying to think. I think Max won this one, right? Do I have that right? Yeah. So this was one of a couple events that went really well for Max, but unfortunately, he just had enough events that didn't go great for him that just didn't really matter. Like I think he had 2 event wins.
He had 2 event wins.
Yeah, and it just didn't really make enough of a difference for him, unfortunately, because he had just had a couple events that just didn't go his way. But the keg toss was cool. I like that. I like what Smo does, where the guys are all sitting out there and then they go to the back as they miss, whatever. I think that's like a nice touch. And
that was very fun because Nick Gordione and Evan Singleton were just kind of like razzing each other the whole time.
Right.
So when Evan eventually missed his keg,
yeah.
Nick Gordione shoots up and just waves at him, and it felt like a long time that he was doing that. And it was just very, very funny. Well, and they're both very comfortable in front of a crowd.
Yeah,
especially Nick now, because
Nick seems to be getting more and more so. I think now he feels like he belongs a little more, maybe.
Yeah, and it's really fun to watch him grow as an athlete as well, and just be a showman. So like after, I'm getting ahead of myself, but after the first day was done, Nick stood at the door where the audience was leaving with his shirt off, with like a water in his hand or something, and just was wishing everyone a good night.
I was gonna say, just with his shirt off, just handing out his phone number to all the ladies that were walking by. That's what I would do if I was Nick Gordione, a young man and strong man like that.
Yeah.
Because Evan was doing all like the wrestling taunts to everybody as he'd make a throw, and then the camera or the commentary was like, "Oh yeah, you can't see it on camera, but Nick Gordione is waving goodbye to Evan Singleton as he goes to the back." And I was like, "Man, put a fucking camera on that! Like, I want to see that shit."
Yeah.
But no, that was really cool to hear, and it's fun to see these guys getting a little bit of
It's fun to see them just like have fun,
Yeah,
right?
Like, wrong with that.
And it like they do take it very seriously, obviously, but we're there for a show,
right? Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, we're there to entertain people,
and that's what I think that we've seen a little bit of a shift in our local Manitoba strongman since Wes was here, and he had that conversation with our athletes. Well, like, hey man, make sure you guys remember this is like a competition, but it's also a show. It's like we're being paid to be here by this festival
as entertainment.
That's the only way that we can make this happen, is that these festivals or fairs or whatever are making us a part of their thing here. So I do feel like we said, like, even like we'll get into a little bit later, but Western strongest woman in the West, you could see that the Manitoba ladies would put on a little bit of a show.
Yes.
Not Anna, but she still has her laser focus thing that she does. But,
right. I don't believe that Anna even looked up.
No, but Erin has a little more of an explosiveness to her and stuff. Even Jocelyn too. So, yeah. But it's good to see that. And what I was gonna say though is that it's funny because Wes is such a, he's a pretty stoic, keep to himself kind of guy.
Right.
But when all of a sudden when he's in front of the camera, it really changes. And
yes.
He's a good interview. He's a good like representation, like a good ambassador for the sport.
Right.
He is like, he gets fired up. He's getting the crowd into it.
Yeah.
He's excited. It's really, really fun to watch. So to wrap up the keg toss one, I think that the only real like maybe surprise to some people is I think that a lot of people thought that Shane Flowers would do better in that one because he's just so good at throwing. But I think that what a lot of people don't take into account with that is that even by his own account, like I don't think that he's not a technical thrower.
He's just really, really good at it.
He's just good at throwing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think that when we talk about a run where he's moving very fast and he can go quickly between bags and stuff, like he's really, really good at that.
I was going to say, I think that's the difference too, is that he's good because he's very athletic. His transitions are very quick. But when you put time between and it's just power
yeah,
right?
It's a little different.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I need to mention that because Wes was attempting his final keg. And he didn't get the first one. You only get 2 attempts. So you get these 2 kegs to throw. and he had his hat because he always wears a hat. And then he's
His Fred
getting
Durst hat.
yeah, and then he's getting the crowd behind him, and then he's getting geared up to try his second keg, and he turns his hat around, and the crowd went wild.
I hope that people notice that. I hope they notice the over the top reference to
Yes.
that one because
So later on, I was talking to him, like after the first day was done, and he goes, "Oh yeah," and I turned my hat around. He's like, "I knew I wasn't gonna get it, but I thought I'd do something fun anyway."
that's exactly what we're talking about. Can you think of a more like West style movie than Over the Top?
Yeah, well, okay, I didn't know it was from that.
Yeah.
But we had just watched this movie like a couple of weeks ago. And I said, yeah, like, you know, in that arm wrestling movie. And I'm sitting there with Laws, who just won the strongest arm on earth, and Wes, who's just like a sports nerd.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you haven't seen it before? And I was like, that's not like a usual girl movie to watch.
Yeah. Me and Jian have been going on a little bit of a kick where I've been showing her all these movies. From like we watched Over the Top and we watched Bloodsport.
Yeah.
I think we should do First Blood soon.
Okay.
That's like Rambo.
Oh, okay.
I think you'd like that one. It's actually a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, and I do want to dial it back here just a little bit. We might not get into anything else besides Smo today because this is kind of going longer than I thought, but that's okay. Did you cry at all during the Max log?
No, I didn't cry.
Okay, I know you didn't cry at all during the hoist. There's no opportunity to cry there.
Right. Too quick to cry.
Did you cry at all during the keg?
No, I don't think so, but I was very close.
Did you cry during any event?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll get to that when we
Yeah.
get to it then. Okay, so then any more thoughts of the keg toss?
No, it was just very fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had the manhood stones to wrap up day one. Much better this year than last year by the athletes. The athletes last year were all having a dick measuring competition, trying to go for the heaviest stone possible and not just taking points that were sitting right there on the table. And guys were a lot more calculated and a lot smarter this time around. And I think that this was a good example of us seeing
Smart man.
starting to take over a little bit in terms of just strongman. But like Evan Singleton taking a nice conservative choice with the stone. You know, whether that's his own doing, maybe that's Nico helping him, Greek Goliath World Order training. But he seemed to be much more in control of his emotions this competition, which I'll give him credit for. He's been doing that more and more we've seen lately. But I think that this was the first time and the first one that he won a major. And it was the first one that he really seemed to be in control of not only like his own emotions, but just the situation. Just like, you know what I mean?
Just the adrenaline and keeping it down and keeping a cool head, right? And this was huge for me because Josh had a really good event as well. Like he did really well on, I knew he was nervous about the log.
He did well on the log, though.
He did well on the log, but I think to him, like it was the first event is always all nerves, right? So you got to shake it off.
I mean, like maybe he would disagrry, but like for me, like looking at him, I was like, he looks really nervous.
He looked really nervous the whole time.
He forgot to dap everyone up on the handshake line. I noticed that right away. I was like, oh, Joshy's nervous.
And you know what? Like he just looks bummed.
He always looks like he's like I don't want to be here. Like,
yeah. It looks like you're making him be there.
Yeah.
But when I realized that Josh beat Evan Singleton on the stones, that's when I cried.
You cried then?
Yeah.
First time in the competition you cried?
Yeah.
Okay. And to double back a little bit, like watching Josh on the max log, to me, like right away I was like, okay, he's supposed to be here. Like he didn't look like and I would even say like for the Arnold with Guardione there, who has since really began to bloom and be a much more competent strongman. He just looked like the bottom of that pack. Like it just in everything he did, it was like this is Guardione, the bottom, and then everybody else kind of gets to go.
Right.
Where he's improved that immensely. I just didn't think that was the case with Josh. I didn't feel like he was like, oh, here's the guy who is just leaving the Shaw Open, hasn't quite cracked this one, but he looked very ready.
He belongs there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll talk about that on day 2. But manhood stones, there were talk about the stones being slippery. I know that Bryce Johnson had a bloody nose, and I didn't see it, but somebody said that they cleaned off the stone with Lysol.
Yeah.
Like they sprayed it down, and that's why it's slippery. And I had talked to a couple of the people that were involved in the show, and they said it felt fine. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the athletes are always going to have their opinion, and everybody else is going to have their opinion, right?
Right.
So I'm not saying that either one is right or wrong.
People got it. That's the thing.
People got reps, and choices had to be made. That if you went and looked at a stone, you're like, this one's fucking filthy. It's like, well, that's that stone, and you can choose to try the dirty stone, or you can go to a lighter or heavier one.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not an ideal situation, obviously, but it's just I don't like to lean too much into this phrase, but it's like that's just strong, man.
Yeah.
That's just what it's going to be.
I mean, that's just.
And they have to clean blood. They can't not clean the blood. You know what I mean? Like, what are they
well,
gonna
especially if someone's like going up with no tape, no sleeves, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're just begging for an infection.
And then that actually kind of reminds me too, again, to double back a second time, to the max log, was Trey was having trouble with his second attempt with the log slipping on him. Couldn't get a grip on it for some reason, and it looked like something was going on with it, but then other guys were getting it still,
Right.
And so he went on his third attempt and chalked the shit out of the log. And I'd be actually kind of curious. I want to get some of the listener input on this. Put in the comments below. Do you think that you should be able to do that? Do you think that you should be able to chalk up the implement before you go?
I mean, that's up to the promoter, but if it was
You're a promoter.
If it was our show, I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care, okay?
No.
Okay, see, I don't think you should be allowed to. I don't think that you wouldn't be allowed to if you're playing football, and if you're like a receiver, you wouldn't be allowed to go up and like scuff the football up to make it easier for you to catch.
That's different because you're changing the actual football itself.
Well, how about this though? If I chalk that log up, and then now it gets sweaty shirts on it, and it gets caked up and it gets wet on there, it could be more slippery for a guy down the line.
I think that's up to the athlete to check the implement before they attempt.
But wouldn't it be easier just to not have people fuck with the implement?
I don't know.
I lean towards that. I lean towards you.
I think as athletes, you take a responsibility for the implement as you walk up to it. As long as it doesn't actually affect the integrity of the implement in general.
Okay there, pal.
All right.
We'll call that one an agree to disagree.
Don't ask me a question you don't want to know the answer to,
I do want to know the
guess.
answer. I just want you to agree with me. For my money, I would say no on that one, but you say yes, so we'll have to.
Well, and then there's coaches that put tacky on the stones before they go.
I don't agree with that either.
Well, then you should take that up with the promoters.
Maybe I will.
All right.
Maybe I'll go talk to Brian Shaw the next time he's in Sandy Bay, Manitoba, hanging out at the res, and I'll go see what he has to say about it.
What is your problem?
I'll walk into his face and be like, "Listen up, Brian Shaw.
You're like this.
I don't think that you should be allowed.
What's the big idea?
I think that you should retroactively take those points away from Trey.
Right.
We'll see
Take them away now.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, shit. We'll see if he listens or not.
Also, what I thought was really funny, probably not funny at the time, during the log lift.
If you're gonna turn
Nope.
to me, let's.
During the log lift, the second, like Evan's second one, I think Nico just forgot that you weren't allowed on there, and then so he's walking up with him and he's about to give him a back slap, right? And then Nico just gets grabbed and gets scurried away.
Nico got hit with that "unhand me, you ruffian" thing. Like he was just like the guy grabbed his shirt. He was like, "Whoa, okay." And like he was like,
"All right, I'm
getting,
sorry."
like, hustled out, and it was.
Oh my! And I was sitting right where that happened too. And when we were at the hotel hanging out in the lobby, I was like, "Nico, you got your pee-pee slapped, hey?"
Yeah, that was. I didn't notice it when it was happening, but I saw the clip afterwards, and I was like, "That volunteer was not messing around."
No, and none of them. Yeah.
If that's the rules, and that's whatever. I like personally, I wouldn't want my volunteer like putting hands on someone like that.
Grabbing someone.
But I don't know how clear the rules are made.
And here's the thing: people are talking to. It's like, oh, they shouldn't have grabbed him like that. Like that really threw off Evan. And it's like, well, I'm sure coaches were told. And I'm sure
Right.
it wasn't deliberate. He just forgot. Right?
Or he wanted to just try to sneak one by or whatever. It's like, there's not like a malicious intent to that. He's just like, I want my guy to do well, whatever. So
he's just there for his guy.
Yeah, that was very funny. But I also thought too. So with the manhood stones, so we started to see. For me, I started to see, okay, like Evan is really into this. Like he's really dialed into this one here too. I also started to see the opposite in Tom Stolman, where you could see that his head was not in this, and he wasn't doing very well. And for him to get as really a really poor result on the stones. Yeah.
Because usually that's his bread and butter, right?
And he's
so
sorry.
I'm sure everyone's already seen by now, but he tore his bicep.
Right.
And I'm not quite sure when it
I don't
happened.
know when it was either. Yeah.
I didn't see it until after everything was said and done. So it was
like,
probably like nagging already, and it was about to go.
Yeah. Before like the second last or last event, he was like, "Yeah, I messed up my bicep." That's when the first time that I saw it.
Right.
But yeah, you could just see that he just wasn't. And Tom's like he needs to be there mentally for it to work for him. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like this, in the same way that we've seen Evan lose competitions from being too mentally invested, maybe in a way, or the wrong kind of mental investment.
Right.
We see that the opposite with Tom, where if he's just not into it, he's just not into it, and
Right.
and it seems to me that if it's not Worlds, he's just not that into it.
And I think that's a theory that's starting to become reality as well, because people always talk about, oh, Tom's only good at Worlds or whatever. And it like if you say something enough to yourself, it starts becoming the truth,
yeah.
right? So I don't know, like that's the interesting part of sports for me is the psychology.
I just didn't. I didn't see Tom Stoltman in any kind of Tom Stoltman shape here. But to be honest with you, like I didn't have him on my podium.
Right.
I didn't. I didn't pick the podium correctly, but I was correct in that.
Who was your podium predictions?
Who was my podium predictions? I had Lucas. Shoot, what did I have? I definitely didn't have Tom Evans on there, which was like a really fun surprise. I might have said Andrade, Lucas, and Evan without really putting it in order. I think.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because this is a show built for Andrade too.
Yeah, and he had a great showing.
Yeah.
But I think that I might have said that, and I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think I put like any specific order to it or anything.
So to give you context, Tyler asked me who I wanted to win, and I said I wanted everyone to win.
Everybody.
I want everyone to have fun, and then that's how we all win. Also, I think the camera is dying. Hold on. Okay, sorry.
All right, the frame might be different because Jian unplugged the camera.
I was fixing
Jian
the camera
unplugged
because
the camera.
nobody else knows how to do the technical stuff around this place.
Well, I know how to not unplug the camera, so that's what I did. Anyway, we were wrapping up the manhood stones. Just kidding, you do a great job. Wrapping up the manhood stones, and that's kind of where we're at with that.
Right.
The first event of the next day was the max trap bar deadlift. I think that was a more fun event than people probably thought it was going to be when they first heard there was going to be a max trap bar deadlift. It's not something you see very often. It's a different kind of event. It's a different sort of test than what we get to see.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
It's a
cool.
real spectacle, right? Like there's
Yeah.
huge tires on it.
Yeah, Tristan
Yeah.
did really good on that one.
So, who won that one?
Evan.
It was Evan and Lucas. They tied.
They tied. Okay, yeah. Lucas, not shocking there. When you make a deadlift event that's mostly leg strength, he's going to do well on that one. The bar that they made was really, really awesome. It was a really cool, like heavy duty trap bar. One of one, I'm sure.
Right. And you know what's really interesting is that it looked very temperamental. So, if somebody just tapped it a little bit, the whole thing would go. And the guys, as they were stepping out of the apparatus, they would just like barely put their hand on it, and the whole thing would tilt back, or it would tilt forward. So your handle on it was very important. So that's
interesting.
I don't know why that is, because you don't think that a trap bar like that would be so.
Yeah, you think it'd be less so maybe.
Yeah.
But, the trap bar was a cool event. I liked it actually. It was better than I thought. Unfortunately, we saw Shane Flowers withdraw after the manhood stone.
Yeah.
Apparently, he
Tore his lat.
during the warm-ups for the stones. And we also saw Bobby Thompson out at this point too.
One of many.
Yeah,
It was really scary because he was like
passed out,
convulsing.
every event.
I think so. Somebody out there has a count on how many times he passed out.
It was more than once. So it's just you get to a point where it's like if you're watching football and a player is passing out on the field,
Right. You pull him out of the game.
They're not going to let you continue on. That's
Right.
just not going to happen. And Bobby Thompson also announcing his retirement from professional strongman after the show.
Yes.
I don't know Bobby. I've never met him. I kind of thought that we were right near the end of his time at this level of competition. Hasn't really performed the way that he needs to. He's constantly hurt. He's constantly getting hurt in competitions.
He's constantly laying down.
Yeah, and like, hey, like nothing but respect for a guy who gave a lot of himself to the sport, whatever. But I really do think that this was time, and I thought that if to myself that I might have said it on here, I forget, but if it's time for him to at the very least take a step back from these big shows,
Right.
and do some SCL, do OSG, do the Arnold's, something,
Right.
where he can show that he still deserves that spot. Because if you deserve that spot, you should win those shows.
Do you know how old he is?
He's young. He's like 32 or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't think it gives age on there, does it? Oh, it does.
He's 32?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that proves my theory,
Strong
right?
hard on people, man.
My theory is you're either 25 or 40.
Yep. Or 32.
Or 32. And sometimes 42.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But he, it's I just, like I said, I think that he either needed to step away for a little bit, or
Right.
if he feels better to call it quits entirely, that's probably what's best for him. So all the best to Bobby Thompson and whatever his future endeavors may be. Moving on to the Super Yoke. Mm-hmm. Really, really fun event to watch.
That was really fun.
The Fort Knox sponsored thing.
That was really cool because they had the empty safe, like the two safes on the side of the yoke, and for them to load it, because they would load it to a certain weight. They had gold bars.
They sure
So
did.
that was really fun.
And we watched.
And it was ran with lasers, right?
But the laser timing was really cool.
It was interesting because the way that it all shook out actually was one side of the lasers had to be set off for the actual time to stop.
But not both sides.
But not both sides.
Right, and that
so
mattered,
if you just tilt it
Give
to
a
that
little
one
twist,
side, if you knew that going
which
in.
you could never do. You couldn't do that on purpose with 1,400 pounds.
Right,
Like
right.
Tristan just did it. Like he didn't do that with a deliberate. I don't think.
There's no way you could do that on purpose because you would be
You just twist.
fucking over your obliques.
You would twist until you crack in half.
Yeah.
basically. But that was a great event for our boy Tristan. He won the event. I would say that you'd be hard pressed to not call him the best yoke runner in the world after something like that. Maybe the second hardest yoke run ever.
And you know what? It was a very convincing run as well because he was fast, right? Like what did he get, Tristan? 11.85 seconds.
1,400 pounds, 25 feet, and 11.85 seconds. That's absolutely bonkers.
Right.
We saw a little bit of not great news for Wes on this one, which was I'm pretty sure that we saw him go over to JF, who's his coach, and say that something was going on with his Achilles or something, which we saw carry on all the way until this last weekend at Canada's Strongest Man. So we wish nothing but the best in terms of recovery and wellness for Wes. So feel better and then come back when you're ready.
He's gonna come back anyways whenever he feels like
exactly.
it.
If you even take any time off, God knows. The chest press. Okay, what was your experience as a fan there for the chest press?
Okay, so they had to stop everything and reset because it was by lever, right? Like you would pull on, not a lever, but like a pull system. Yeah. So it wasn't the volunteer's fault, obviously.
Right.
So he would pull and then he would let go at the proper time, but two kegs would go. So they had to stop and fix whatever was broken. Josh's friend, I was sitting with Josh's friend Michael. He was losing his shit. He just needed to get in there and fix it. I was like, they're not gonna let you get in there and fix it. They don't know who you are, and it's just like I'm sure every single dad in this place is dying to fix it.
If my dad was there, he'd be like, if they just let me do it, I could fix it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. He had to get up and just pace, and he had to walk away from it. But it was really cool. And then they started testing it and then making sure that it's actually working properly.
Right.
And I just started cheering every time only one would go.
Yay.
Yeah. And then that happened because they tested it a couple times.
Right.
And it's a really cool apparatus.
It is a good apparatus,
yeah. Because the way that it goes is like the two tracks, and then they just switch the tracks every time. That was crazy.
Ignoring the mistake, like the equipment malfunction that was happening, what was your thoughts on the event itself? Watching it there, was it fun to watch?
It was fun to watch. It's a logistical nightmare. It's also really hard because every single body in this competition is so different. So certain guys would have a hard time even just getting into position because they're just so thick. So there's not a lot of moving parts with this apparatus. They also had to be strapped in. So then they couldn't like push their body
Right.
out, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
So their back had to be completely
Pretty flat
flat.
to it, yeah.
So if you're taking all these things into consideration, it's just like, I don't know. I like it's fun to watch, but I don't love it logistically.
Right. See, my problem with it is the reason why any press kind of sucks that's not an overhead press is that if you're, let's imagine you're doing like a regular flat bench press. You can see lockout. It's all very clear. That's good. But what you don't get to see is the athlete's face. So you miss that engagement with the athlete. You don't get to see the strain. You don't get to see that it's difficult. You don't get to see the elation. You don't get to see any of that stuff. And then that problem gets fixed with a standing chest press. But now the problem becomes, it's really hard to see. If I look at the camera right now, it's hard to see if this is locked out or if this is locked out.
Right.
Because this isn't locked out, but it looks like it could be. So if you're sitting there like this and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how close is he? And then all of a sudden it's like there. You're like, you can't tell as a fan what's going on as easily.
And what also was really hard to watch from the audience was they don't get a down command, I guess. So they would press and then like...
JF would say good lift.
He would say good lift, but from the audience perspective, there wasn't like...
Right, a big thing. Yeah.
So from what it looked like, it was just like... It would be really quick, like up and down, because guys were getting a ton of reps.
He was, and JF was. There was obviously like the word's escaping me, but there was obviously like a mandate, not a mandate, but something
cue or something
that was like these are going to be fast presses.
Right.
Because he was being pretty liberal with like when they were letting it go if he'd already finished saying good lift or whatever.
Right.
Which is obviously, that was, like I said, that was obviously what was decided beforehand. So that's not a statement on JS refereeing at all. But think of it kind of in the way of that, like a stone press or a block press, where they were being a little bit more loose with the strictness of the pressing.
It was cool though. Like
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it.
I liked it more than I thought I would.
They had the apparatus set up the whole time because it's just huge. So it just seemed like this big looming thing for the day. Right. So that was really fun.
Same with the throwing apparatus for the
yeah.
Okay, so then the last event of the competition of the last 2 days was the medley. The power medley is what they call it, North Americans, but I'm not sure if there's like the Shaw medley or something, some name for it. Go through that one for us. What was your experience with that one?
It was crazy. The apparatus that they had for the front carry was...
It's pretty neat.
It looked mean.
Yeah.
Right? So
it was a bunch of like drill bits put together, I think.
Yeah. And it was... And they loaded it as well. So...
It was like almost 400 pounds, I think.
I think so. And then for some guys, it's really easy to have it close to you. But then it would be longer. So if you don't have a high enough pick, it would hit you in the legs as you're running. And some guys were running with it. So it's really interesting because it shakes up. Lucas ended up finishing the front hold first. So he got to the power stairs first before Evan did. And then the whole show was a nail biter because it was... You didn't know whose show it was going to be at some point, right?
It came right down to this event.
The points were very, very close.
I think we're all kind of used to a Hooper show.
Yeah.
Where he sometimes doesn't have to do the last event. Not Strongest Man on Earth, but like a Giants Live or whatever. And that was not the case with this show, where it could have gone any way. But
it was down to the second whose show it was, right? For every single event. So that was really fun to watch. I was excited for Wes for this because he's very good at power stairs. So is Bryce. So are a lot of guys. Lucas is really good. It was just that I don't think he was getting enough air also. Like he was starting to get a lot more tired.
You're saying he's very unathletic.
No.
Slow, eh?
It's the elevation.
Okay.
What the guys would say.
Yeah, he's
he's a great mover. He ran with the front hold.
I like watching him do these events because he really does belie his speed and agility with his size. You know, you wouldn't think that he would be as quick as he is.
And that's why people always say like, "Oh, he's not a good mover." He is a great mover.
Yeah, this won't help that misinterpretation of him that he lost on a moving event.
Yeah.
Even though it was like a really fucking close one and it was hard. Like it's not, people be like, "Oh, see, told you, can't move."
And like the stupid thing is, he actually won that or no, he didn't win that event, but he got a lot of points on that event. You know, like he did really well. It's just that Evan was just that much faster than him, and he had to win that event for him to win.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was a hell of a way to end the competition. Evan Singleton, your strongest man on earth. champion. He is the strongest man on earth, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that winning that competition actually does prove that.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily the 10 guys at World's Strongest Man finals are the 10 strongest guys in the world. Although I do often think the guy who wins is the strongest man in the world, but we don't know that. I guess we have to have Evan Singleton versus Rain O'Neill to find out for sure.
Right.
1-on-1, that'd be amazing.
Bare knuckle boxing.
Yep, they just fight.
Who would win? Evan, for sure. Evan would bring a gun.
Evan seems to have a meaner, like he seems to have a little more of a killer instinct, I think, than Rain O'Neill might have. But I would be curious, like this show didn't have Rain O'Neill in it. This show didn't have Mitch Hooper. This show didn't have Thor Bjornsson. And this is not in any way to take, because I truly think this was one of the best competitions that's ever happened. I think this goes up there in the conversations with like it wasn't better than Fortissimus. That's just a ridiculous thing to expect from a competition. But I do think it's up there in that upper echelon with Fortissimus, with those S tier competitions.
And you know what? He's really on a tear too, coming off of a win from Giants Live, and the World Deadlift Championships is coming up soon as well. When is that?
Soon, really soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots coming up, so these guys don't really get much of a break or time off or anything. They just roll right back into it.
And Tristan is going to Birmingham.
Tristan was a late addition to it.
Right.
Okay, so we're already at an hour and 5 years. So I think that we've hit pretty much what we want to talk about for this episode.
Well, I think we should touch on Canada's Strongest Man.
Why don't we do a little bonus thing afterwards?
When are we going to shoot that?
Like right now, but just not as part of this.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Hold on. I'll do that part. Thank you very much. All right. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys, if you need that beef, you hit up Mark Schram. Follow us on here. Give us a subscribe on here. I'll let you guys in a little secret. We're trying to monetize this bitch. So give us the subscriptions that we need. I have no idea how many that it is, but get on it. Make sure you guys leave a nice little comment for us in the thing down there. A little like doesn't never hurt anybody. And I think that it helps us. I'm sure it does.
Help somebody.
Help somebody out there, that's for sure. It helps you too, I guess. But thanks for
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.